Thank you, Madam Clerk. Hello, Council, members of staff, members of the public. Welcome to our council meeting here in the council chambers for the Township of Clearview. It is Monday, June the 23rd, 2025, and it's just past 5:30 p.m. and it's over 37 degrees out, so why not sit in a council chambers where it's nice and cool? Let's have a good meeting here, folks. We're going to get started here with the meeting. So I'd like to begin by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Tiahuanacocha, and the Wendat, and is the home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask the Creator for guidance in all that we do. And it's always my privilege and honor to say the land acknowledgement on behalf of the Township of Clearview, which I do voluntarily. Now, our order of proceedings for tonight's meeting, there was no closed session tonight. We're going to move directly, Council, to item number 2, which is the approval of the agenda. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the agenda dated June 23rd, 2025 as presented. Moved by Mr. Walker and Councillor Deneen. Thank you. Any questions about the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? And that carries unanimous. Thank you very much, Council. Moving on, declarations of peculiar interest and general nature thereof. Has anybody got any declarations for interest for this meeting? Members of Council, if nothing comes up or something comes up during the meeting, please bring it forward and we will deal with it right away for you. At this point, we'll go to item number 4, which is our public participation period. We have members in the public, so I will read the full script. Be advised that comments and views expressed under public participation period are not the views of the Township of Clearview Council or the administration. Public participation is limited to 15 minutes. Each person is limited to 5 minutes. Questions or comments are to be directed to the mayor, and questions shall not refer to personnel matters, litigation or potential litigation, or planning matters that have already had a public meeting or any item considered confidential. For those members of the public not able to attend the meeting in person, written public participation can be provided through the township's portal. Written comments shall be received prior to noon the Friday before the regularly scheduled council meeting. And at this time, I'd like to remind everybody to please share the time with your fellow citizens, and that way we can get through everybody who would like to speak. And at this time, I will ask for our deputy clerk, Krista, has there been any electronic participations in public participation?
Thank you, Worship. No, there were no electronic submissions this week.
All right. Thank you very much for that. So this time then I can open up the floor. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to come forward and speak in public participation period? The microphone is open. Going once? Yes, sir. Hey, come forward. How are you? Nice and cool out there. Sorry, excuse me. If you could just press the button there on the microphone just to get that on.
Testing.
I think we can hear you. There we go.
Yeah, Richard Schubert. I live in Avening.
Yes.
Here to speak about the road that was put in and the berm that was put in at the end of my street. This is Robertson Street in Avening. That used to be a path into the park. There's a playground right there for the kids, pavilion for the people picnic at. We were told that the berm was put in there because this was a safety hazard, because cars were parking there. I walk my dog there twice a day, 7 days a week. I occasionally see a car parked there, a car at the corner. I'd like to know why they didn't put a no parking sign for a couple $100 instead of spending $27,500, which is what I understand it was spent there. And also why they put a road in. They put a road in where there was already a path, which is, I imagine, where the bulk of the $27,500 went. And then had to block it with stones at both ends because otherwise cars would have been driving through the park. So the road is inaccessible and serves absolutely no purpose, complete waste of money. My neighbor who may be speaking of, well, I have a number of neighbors, their kids used to go through, there was a pathway, right? Little entrance with posts so that only pedestrians could walk in to access the playground. Now, unless they go over the berm, they have to walk down the street half a block and then walk through this bizarre kind of road. My neighbor's mother, who is 86 years old, can no longer access the park with her dog.
Okay.
It was just, I would like to have that berm removed and the pedestrian pathway reestablished and a no parking sign placed there. As I say, I don't know why no parking sign wasn't tried before spending $27,500.
Okay,
Thank
listen,
you.
I'm just looking it up here on the map because I'm not even familiar with this. It's a very small street, I believe, right?
It is.
Like
yes.
short
It's
street.
1 block long. It's got about 6 houses on it.
6 houses on it? Yeah, okay. I think I know where it is. I'm
Yeah.
just calling it up here on my little map so I can get an understanding.
Yeah, it's almost right across from the evening community center.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
I know where you mean. Okay, so perhaps while I'm still digging this out, perhaps someone from our Public Works Department could comment on that. And I do believe perhaps even the deputy mayor might be able to comment too. Is that right? Terry as well? Can I start with the Public Works Department? Because I think are you going to go straight over to him? Danny's being very, very politically correct by just pointing over. Okay. Mr. Vachon, can you help me understand and explain to Richard what happened here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Your Worship. Maybe just to clarify a few points, very valid concerns. Just a few points. The first one is it's not a road that was built. It's a path. It's as per our Clearview standards, Your Worship. As you know, that
Yes.
it is 3 meters wide. So we have to follow those Clearview standards. It does look pretty wide, much wider than what was there before, but it's not a roadway. It's an actual bona fide trail as per our standards. Also, the no parking signs have been purchased. They just haven't been installed yet. So there was a request about putting the signs up. There will be no parking signs erected there. The crew hasn't had a chance to get out there and put them up. And the berm was a means of a temporary measures to put up there to try to prevent folks from parking in that corner. As you know, Your Worship, that roadway on the roads is only about 1.5 car wide.
Yes.
And so, and I have personally witnessed many occasions last year where there were a lot of cars parked on that corner. Unfortunately, folks from down south are led to believe through Google Maps that there's a bona fide washing facility in Carruthers Park.
Oh,
So when they come up, unfortunately, they miss the actual Carruthers Park roadway, and maybe some improvements could be done to that entrance to try to
gotcha.
advertise that more as an entrance, but they miss it and then they end up going down Robertson Street and they park in that corner.
Mm.
And then they find out that it's not a bona fide washroom, that it's actually a pavilion from a top down look. But it ends up causing a bit of a traffic jam in that corner. And I've witnessed people trying to maneuver through the vehicles to try to get to that location. So the project was actually in a 2-phase process. The first one was to build a fully accessible trail to allow the residents of Avening to access the park. And the second one was to try to mitigate the traffic in that corner. There was a lot of ideas that were proposed to try to improve that corner. We thought the quickest, easiest, most natural one at this point would be a berm, but it could be removed. But if it's removed, I think it's still going to attract traffic in that corner. There was thoughts about putting up a whole fence and maybe with a people, like a fence with a kind of people gate was another option. But we thought before we spend money on that project, we'd try the berm out first. So there's still, we can always build a little walkway next to the berm if folks absolutely have to use that corner to access the park. There could be some improvements to that corner, but at the moment it was deemed more of a safety requirement, and that's why that was all built.
All right. Well, first of all, I haven't been down to that intersection or that corner in a long time. But I do recall, Richard, there being a complaint that came here, I think it was last term, about people parking their RVs right at the end of Carruthers Street. And there's a little walking trail that goes through the bush and comes into the trail. And there was an RV or something parked right there, and I think somebody was living in it for about 4 or 5 weeks. And so that got removed and dealt with both through the bylaw department, and I believe the OBP even got involved. But so I'm sorry, I wasn't even familiar with the problem there, but I can see what you're saying. You wanted to walk into the park from the foot of Robertson Street and get in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
particularly for the more elderly. I mean, the kids can go over the berm, but
Sure.
more elderly, whom I'm soon to be joining, I might say.
Okay, there you go. So let's just keep an eye on what the staff are proposing here, because to be honest, I don't think we ever discussed it here. I don't think this council ever discussed it, but
Yeah.
I certainly know we spent some time working with the NVCA to get Carruthers Park. We had quite a significant upgrade happening there. First of all, the NVCA did a stream rehabilitation, and the wall of the river was sort of extended and created into.
Yeah, they've done
you
a
know,
very nice job.
And so if you remember that, and then we did some work on the roadway, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
We put some work in there. So
I
this
didn't
is,
realize it was a two-step process.
Okay.
That sounds very promising, and with
Okay.
with a path, that would obviate the problem. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let's keep an eye on it. I'm going to stop down there in the next couple of weeks, or, a couple of days, and we'll have a look. And let's check in with the director on how he's
Okay.
doing with it in a couple of weeks. If you don't mind, maybe before you leave, why don't you just share your phone number with Terry?
Yeah,
And then
okay.
that way you can stay in touch.
Yeah. Will
Does
do.
that help?
Okay, very much so.
Thanks very much. I'm sorry, I wasn't even aware of this, but that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Are there other members of council who'd like to speak? Hello. This person put her hand up and then you stood up. So, okay, you can go first. Come on up. Hello.
I also live on Robertson Street.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Heike Dreivelbis.
Oh, right. Hi. Okay.
I'm very proud of my community.
Yes.
It has been an amazing community, and I thank this, the township for contributing in many ways to this. I too am concerned about the way this has been handled, okay?
Oh.
I do not see an environmental benefit, a safety benefit, or anything that has been done there. I've lived there for 35 years. I've raised my 2 children there. My granddaughter has come, when she comes to go visit, we have gone over to the playground and walked around the area in the park. I call my daughter my fish and monkey because she loves to climb and be involved with water. It is something that community and the children that are there, which I'm very happy to see, deserve to be able to enjoy. I rarely ever see more than maybe 1 car right at that corner, maybe 1, on extremely rare occasions too. So I honestly do not see any reason that this should have been done without at least communicating with the community.
Okay.
My biggest frustration is if somebody in the community had a concern, they never expressed it to anyone else in the community if they had observed a similar situation.
Okay.
So nothing has been said to anyone.
Yeah.
Which to me kind of defeats the purpose of having a supportive community.
Sure.
All right.
Well, first of all, you can express your concerns right here to this, and we're happy
I'm
that you're here to do that. So, and
Environment I'm not used to.
yeah, and the other thing is to communicate with members of council. If you're not sure who to communicate with, just send an email to council@clearview.ca.
Yeah.
And all members of this table will receive that email.
And I have expressed my concern. My mom, who's 86, lives with me
Okay,
and loves to walk her dog.
sure.
And she has some sight issues, but she's very familiar with being able to walk into there, being able to walk her dog.
Yeah,
Also, I've never seen any disruption in there, any
mhm.
lawlessness, any, community issues that really, I actually, I applaud even those who come on travels who stop to take a break because then they're not on the road getting tired.
Yes,
Okay, and they've never left a mess. There's never been loud partying or anything like that in the longest of time.
yes.
So I really would like to understand how safety is an issue. A sign, if parking was an issue, would have been sufficient, in my opinion. Also, the road
Yeah.
has done very little to help the environmental issues of the
Sorry, do
area.
you mean the road that's in the park?
That has been put in there, that has been recently been put in
Well,
there.
we
block-
updated the road, right?
Yeah,
Because,
the new road.
yeah,
It's not affected, it's not contributing to the environmental benefits of the area, the natural habitat. Okay, so we're not helping the conservation area by having done what has been done. And that is my feeling as well.
well,
So
I
we-
appreciate your point.
Money that was spent would have been wiser to maybe improve the the playground, if there were safety issues so that kids can play there in a safe way. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to add, so you understand, it's a municipal asset that we have to make sure that it's safe. And that safety is referred to the areas of, the public can injure themselves.
But what is
So
the,
we need to make sure that we can mitigate those liability claims that happen in our township. And unfortunately, they do happen. We do get claims from everything from tripping on a sidewalk to running into a branch on a trail. So the point is that the director mentioned in the previous answer, we talked about the trail was not accessible. So it doesn't meet the accessibility standards. So if your mother has a little bit of visual disability, right? The accessibility trails would be wider, clearer, easily marked. Branches would be pushed back so that it's a clear pathway.
and that's.
So that's what it
awesome,
would
and
be.
That's part of the things I'd like
Yeah.
to see. Let's make that, get rid of all that
Yeah. So that's,
oil that's been kind of dumped there.
yeah,
Plus, if we as a community walk in there, those who come that are not part of the community.
Yeah.
Know that there are people around.
Yeah.
And so safety, as far as people.
Yeah.
The community being able to have proper access to the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Helps the safety of the park.
100%. To speak to your environmental concerns, obviously the road work that we did in there was in consultation with the NVCA. And, they are the people that are overseeing,
Yep.
environmental safety and environmental protection. And so the road was not built to highway standards by any means. It's a simple park road. And so it does meet the
Actually-
expectations of the NVCA.
Yeah.
So,
My question is, how has it increased the safety?
wow.
Explain to me, and I'm here.
First of all, I know this, the last time I drove in there, the potholes were at least 2.5 feet deep. So they were pretty treacherous. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to understand too, is you talk about the road
The
being,
road, and yeah, fair enough. The path could be made a little more safer. That would have been a wise
the
idea.
pathway,
But the
yeah.
road? I see no real benefit to
Well,
the road.
If there's a stage 2 project over here, which I understand, Mr. Vachon, is that the case? You're going to tell us a little bit more about what you're doing in stage 2, if you would, please?
No, thank you, Worship. No, maybe if I can clarify, what I meant was the project was in 2 phases, but both have been completed. The first one is improving the trail access from the community to the park, which is the path. They're calling it a roadway, but it's actually a trail. So it was to improve that. That's done. And the other one was to alleviate the pressure on that Robertson corner with traffic. And at the moment, the thought was to put a berm up. Looks more natural, doesn't have a fence, doesn't look unpleasant. If that berm is not suitable, doesn't work, we can always remove it. Very easy, quick fix. If it's not deemed to have a parking concern in that corner. But to answer the question, perhaps, is that the safety concern was the traffic in that corner. Cars couldn't get by when people park in that corner because that's where they use that entrance. So the goal is to try to move the entrance from that corner. But if the residents and council wants to keep that corner as an entrance, you could easily remove the berm. There's no fence that was put up.
Thank you.
It's recommended that they leave the berm there to try to alleviate that being a bona fide entrance and use the new trail that was built as the entrance to the park.
Okay, so as I understand it, then there's more work to be done. We have to sit within the standards that we have as far as what road construction looks like and trail construction. So we have to meet those expectations to be properly insured and then to assure the public that it's a safe road and path. The other aspect too is the overall maintenance of the road, which would be the corner of Robinson Street and what's the north-south one? Is that Fisher? Anyway.
This is where,
So when we meet that intersection, the other aspect there goes back to the Public Works Department because they have to do snow maintenance and winter maintenance on that road to make sure that it's wide enough roadbed to be able to allow the traffic to move through there. So I think the director's correct that we have to make sure that we don't have parking that's impeding the access to the road, and that has to be considered all year round too. So
I have lived there for 35 years, as
Yeah.
I've said. And there has never been any major issue with any big traffic going through there.
Okay,
The most that you have going through there is when they pick up the recycling and garbage and stuff. But other than that, with occasionally one car there, and I mean occasionally, and I emphasize that word, and on extremely rare occasions, maybe two,
Yeah.
they're not there for a long time, and there hasn't been any. I drive
So-
around the block.
I hear you. And you know what? It's, all of our roads have to meet a road classification. So the lowest roads that we have in our township are called class 6. The highest roads we have, I believe, are class 2 roads. Dan, is that right? I don't think we have any class 1 roads. So I'm not sure where this road qualifies in that categorization, but I would suggest to you it's not a 6. A 6 does not have any proper maintenance, can be very narrow, right? This road needs to be wide enough to be able to handle the appropriate traffic that could be on that road. It's not saying it is on that road, it could be. So because it's a season, it's open year round, it has to meet road standards. And there's many across our township, particularly frankly, I'm in an old community of Nottawa. We have some old roads in Nottawa. They're pretty narrow as well. And so we have to deal with those one at a time. And so this worked out that the recreation department was doing a project. Public Works has to do a project there to make it work too. So we have to deal with it. It's as news to us at this council table because
Again.
we don't get into the details of how that goes down at this table, right? We set the budget. We say, yes, there's a project. Yes, we know we have to deal with that. So we put it in the hands of our staff to deal with it. So in all honesty, to both you and the previous speaker, this is news to us. So we'll take a look at it.
We love our community and would like to have proper access.
100%.
Access back.
Okay.
That is very important to us because we do enjoy the opportunity to be in there
Yeah.
without
Okay.
having to climb over a earth or.
100%. Great.
I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for coming in. And as I said previously, email council@clearview.ca.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I think there's one more person. Hi there. Come on up. Unless there's other people too? No? All right. Come on up. Hi. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Hillary Veneziali. I live at 4 Robertson Street.
Oh, you're also on Robinson.
Yeah,
You
and
guys all drove up together, didn't you?
no. So my concern, same as them,
Sure.
but also I want to add on the fact that you guys were talking about the revitalization of the riverbank or like
Yep.
stabilizing it. So you guys did that last year.
Paul's from the NVCA. He can tell you more about that.
So well, the construction happened for it last year in our park.
Okay.
And you guys just like, you totally ripped up all the grass that was there and then never replanted the grass. So where we used to picnic on the side of the river in the park is now just a muddy pit of like, there's like potholes, everything. Like it's not what it used to be. And then not only is it dirty on that side, now it's changing the other side of the riverbank because you guys have put all those stones there. So now the riverbank has to change, but now it's corroding on the other side. So it's like messing up our park again. Like, I feel like you guys did, like you spent all that money on it and it was
I hear you.
useless.
I hear you.
And then also all the construction for the footpath that you guys put in. Again, you ripped up more grass, more nice spots and left big muddy piles, and the berm was dumped on fence posts and galvanized wiring that went across. Like it was literally, it looks like somebody just came and threw up dirt on our park. It was like, when I walked in there, I was just like shocked. Like no
Okay.
professionalism whatsoever. Like it looks terrible.
Okay.
So I just want you guys to know that.
I appreciate that.
There's a plan to go and plant some grass seed. Or something to make
Okay.
it look nice.
All right. So I committed to the previous people. I'll do the same. I'm definitely going down and have a look at this. I haven't been down there to see it. So I will definitely go take a
Maybe
look.
talk to the guy on the corner,
Oh, for sure.
okay?
Sure. Well,
Thanks.
hang on before you go though. Paul would like to just answer some of your questions about the NV. Paul's our representative on the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation.
Correct. So your comment about that we as a township of Clearview did the stream rehabilitation was not. It was the NVCA that did it. And it's a 2-part process. And there's another process coming for further down yet. They're not done. The second thing, I don't know if you were aware, on May 6th, the Friends of the Mad were there and planted all those trees along the river embankment to protect it. So we've got a very strong volunteer group that we are working with from the NVCA in this community to make sure that it's put together properly when the project is all done. And like I was out there when they did the on the 6th that night, and I saw the kids helping plant trees. It was a real nice community project. So more to come, more to see what happens with it. The road, Doug, I hate to tell you, isn't any better than it was. Like there's the potholes are in it still. But there'll be more. You saw the devastation of those trees down still. So there'll be more work done there yet.
Okay, well, hopefully it gets better, but right, like, and I saw the trees. I go to the park.
Yeah.
Like I
Sure.
live literally down the street. But like I said, like there used to be a big thing of grass there by the river where you could sit and enjoy the view of the river and you could picnic there and people would drive there. And that was like,
Yeah.
you know, that was the really nice spot because you drive into the park and it's right there.
I know exactly what
that-
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But that's not there anymore.
My concern, one of the other things too, a lot of the spruce trees that have died off in there. If you notice, how many of them are dead, like, and I don't know whether trees are in there or dying, but I haven't been there since the ice storm, so I can't speak too much, but there's a lot of trees that.
Well, there's a lot of trees that fall in the river, but like a river is a living thing. It
Yeah.
moves.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's natural. And I feel like
Sure.
us trying to stabilize it is like
well, we
getting in the
see,
way of nature.
we see what happened like with the Crothers who own the land around the park there, how much of their land they've lost already because of the river eroding away their property. Like it's being looked at very seriously right now.
Okay.
Thank you. If I can ask all three members here, if you could leave your contact information so that we can perhaps reach out to you. And perhaps Paul and I and maybe other members of council might want to drop down, and Councillor MacArthur, who represents that area, maybe we'll meet you there. Okay. The deputy clerk is right here. She's happy to get your information. That'd be great. Robert MacArthur just wanted to say a few words. He's your counselor for that area. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just, I have been down already, Doug, because
Good, thank you.
Heidi has contacted me as well as Rick, and I went down and looked.
Oh, well, great.
And the director has educated me on the trail standards that were developed some years ago, which to me are pretty near like building a road, not a trail. So we maybe can relook at that in the future and whatnot. But we had, I think, Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, we had to actually put big rocks at each end of this so-called trail because you could have drove a tractor trailer down this trail, in my opinion. So we had the foresight to put big rocks in to stagger them so only pedestrians can get through. And I do want to agree with the citizens that where they did build this berm, they did literally just cover the fence. They didn't tear the fence down first. And so that was a little bit of an oversight in my opinion as well. So that's my conclusion, and hopefully, yeah, you can.
Sounds like we need to have a little chat about this whole thing. I appreciate the citizens bringing forward. I do try to understand where everything is in our township, and I haven't been down there for a little while, so it's my fault too. And so I'm definitely going to be looking into this. Terry wants to finish this up. Go ahead, Terry.
Sorry, just to add to Councilor MacArthur's point, there was, I think, 5 or 6 old wooden posts that were used at that corner entrance. Our contractor that built the trail and put the berm there did remove 4 of them. So there's only 2 that's remaining. The original plan was to put an actual chain link fence there at both entrances versus having the 3 entrances instead of having the rocks put there. But we thought the rocks would look more natural than a chain link fence. The original plan that was shared with council during budget deliberations about this project was to put up fencing there, but we pivoted and put up some rocks to try and make it look a little more natural. And also just, there was a comment that was made, Your Worship, about the funding. And I just wanted to remind council that this was a partnership with Simcoe County, this project for this trail development. They were covering 50% of this project, and we had to get council's approval during the budget deliberations to be able to do this project. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Stopping that topic then. Is there anybody else who has any questions they want to bring forward? Nothing further? Going twice? And third time? All right. Well, thank you all those who participated in public participation. Krista, if you could just grab some contacts and that way we can set up a meeting. Appreciate that. All right. Thank you everyone for participating in public participation. We're going to move on in our agenda to delegations and presentations. The first one tonight is from Brad's Place Addiction Treatment of South Georgian Bay. And we have a report, I guess, from the president. And Melanie is not here, so Pavi's here. Hey, how are you? Do you want to come up and tell us what's happening with Brad's Place? All right.
All right. Fortunately, she's not here, but she's got a lot to say. I'll try to keep it in the 5 minutes. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. My name's Paul Lopes, co-founder and chair of the board for Brad's Place Addiction Treatment of Southern Georgian Bay. I'd like to extend a heartfelt apology and regret on behalf of Melanie Lopes, our president and volunteer counselor who is unable to join us this evening due to a pressing client matter. She sends her warm regards and appreciation for understanding. Next. Today, I'm not just here to talk about addiction. I'm here to speak of grief, to hope, and to the power we hold as a community to change lives. It's with deep pride and heartfelt gratitude that I present this president's report, a reflection of a remarkable progress and growing impact Brad's Place has made since opening its doors in 2023 of April. Brad's story. Brad died at the age of 25 from a drug overdose, but his story is not about what he never received. He asked for help. He wanted recovery, but there was no safe place for him, no support that understood his pain. He once said, "I cannot talk about my issues with this group of old men who remind me of my father, when my father is the root of my issues." That was one of Brad's last efforts to be heard. In 2018, we came together to change that. We built Brad's Place, not out of memory of how he died, but in honor of what he should have had, a place to feel safe, to heal, and to truly be seen. The ripple effects of addiction. Addiction doesn't just take lives, it shatters them. It shatters families. Behind every overdose is a parent who wakes up at 3 a.m. wondering if their child is alive. It's a brother or a sister watching someone they love disappear before their eyes. It's a best friend who doesn't know how to help, or worse, blames themselves. And it's a community that absorbs the loss, quietly, silently, until another name is added to the list. We are not just losing lives, we're losing potential, we're breaking homes, and we're burying our children. We must stop acting like addiction is someone else's problem, because when a child dies, no matter what the age, it belongs to all of us. Brad's Place today, since opening our doors in April of 2023, Brad's Place has experienced remarkable and steady growth. Sorry. What begun with just 5 courageous individuals has now expanded to serve over 57 clients in our recovery programming, reflecting a 760% increase. Notably, 17 new clients joined us in 2025 alone, underscoring the rising need for the trust in our services within the community. Next. Our client intake by quarter. Graph paints a clear picture. The momentum is real. Behind every number is a story, a person, a family, a turning point. Next. Today, Brad's Place offers outpatient addiction support, youth-focused individual and group counseling, relapse prevention, life skills and employment coaching, family support embedded at every step. Because we understand this truth, addiction doesn't isolate itself to one person. It ripples through an entire family. And that's why we don't just treat the individuals, we walk with the families, we listen, we teach, we build bridges through boundaries, love, and hope. Next. Brad's Place isn't just growing, it's becoming a place where healing takes root and futures begin again. At Brad's Place, we are deeply encouraged by the commitment and resilience demonstrated by those we serve. Of the 56.1% of individuals who have chosen to engage with our recovery programming, 8.8 have elected to renew their initial 6-month treatment plans, and many continuing to healing journey with us for over 18 months. This long-term engagement reflects both the trust our clients place in us and the meaningful support they find here. Next. We are also proud to share that 19.3% of our clients have also completed their treatment, having met and exceeded their recovery goals, and expressed confidence in continuing forward with their formal services. Most significantly, 100% of those who either completed treatment or renewed their care plans have successfully reached or surpassed their self-identified recovery goals. These outcomes are not just statistics. They represent lives changed, families strengthened, and the lasting impact of compassionate, individualized care. In 2024, Brad's Place received vital community support that directly enhanced access to care. Through a generous partnership with Delta Bingo and Barrie, over $5,000 in financial assistance was provided, helping to remove treatment barriers for many clients. Next. Brad's Place aims to advance in its mission through 5 key priorities: delivering educational seminars and training to improve community-wide understanding and addiction recovery, launching new support groups to foster connection and healing, expanding access to outpatient and therapeutic services, strengthening regional partnerships across Simcoe County, and advocating for integrated youth-focused addiction treatment that addresses current service gaps. These goals reflect a comprehensive approach to building a more informed, connected, and accessible recovery landscape. Next. Brad's Place gratefully acknowledges the generous $1,000 grant awarded by Clearview Township on May the 6th of 2025, along with the previous year's donation. This funding is directly supporting individual counseling services for residents facing financial barriers, the facilitation of educational workshops on addiction and mental wellness, and the expansion of outreach initiatives aimed at improving access to care across our region. These contributions play a vital role in strengthening local recovery pathways and fostering greater community resilience. We deeply appreciate this partnership and its lasting impact. Next, as we conclude this presentation, I wish to extend a heartfelt appreciation to the Clearview Township Council for your generous support of Brad's Place and our ongoing mission to provide compassionate, accessible addiction treatment. Your dedication to fostering community wellness is both meaningful and deeply valued. The $1,000 grant awarded by the township this year has already made a tangible difference, helping local residents access critical counseling, educational programming, and the recovery resources. Because your support, individuals in need are finding their way toward healing, hope, and healthier futures. We are truly grateful with your partnership. And with that being said, we are also in talks with the Clearview Youth Center for a possible partnership. Next, we welcome your questions and input and deeply value your guidance as we grow to meet community needs. We also invite a continued collaboration with Clearview Township to help ensure addiction recovery services remain accessible and effective. Together, we can create a healthier, more supportive future for those impacted by substance use.
Paul, thank you so much for the presentation and that of your entire board, actually. I know you've got some volunteers here with you tonight as well. So thank you very much for that. And I'm glad to hear that the funding that we provided is helping your organization. And we look forward to continuing our relationship. Great.
You too. We really appreciate it.
All right. Hang on a second. Is there any members of council with any questions? I know that both the members of our committee. Phyllis, you want to go first?
Sure, I
Sure,
just,
go right ahead.
thank you, your worship, and not being smart about it or anything. It wasn't council's money. This is all of Clearview's money.
Yeah.
You're getting that from all of the residents in Clearview, and that's where it all comes from. Thank you.
Yeah, taxpayers' money for sure. Paul, go ahead. Thank you.
Paul, can you talk a bit? I mean, we just see Brad's Place growing and growing from, from all reports. At what point, and I'll use the word, can you become accredited in terms of getting provincial, federal funding? Is that in the works? What
We-
needs to be done?
That is in the works. We are currently trying to deal with companies called CARF. And that's an accredited company for addiction treatment centers. So we're trying to jump the gun. We're trying to get accredited prior to us actually having a center. So with that being said, we're gonna be expanding with accreditation.
So the model that you've used up until now is basically meeting people on their turf, we'll say, or meeting them, I won't say the coffee shop way or whatever. Is that a new model that the province would be willing to entertain, or is it more on the level that the county would have to get involved with this?
Interesting.
That's hard to say because we found with all our experience with addiction and recovery, most of the times it's always institutionalized, which means you go to a building with white walls, the desk, maybe one picture on the wall, and somebody sitting there talking to you. And you usually don't get the best results from the people that want help. So with Melanie and I and her experience working at a youth addiction service place prior, we said, you know what? Let's go where they're comfortable. So with this model the model that you are talking about, I think that was our own little niche of where we go to them, they come to us, we go wherever.
Okay, so just to throw a carrot out towards you, I'm sure you're aware that the county has we just are starting the new heart program. We're having, which is in Barrie. It's it's for rehabilitation and everything else. The county is very, very involved with this. And if you have not reached out and talked to some of our county people, I'd be more than happy to work with you to get in touch with the people, and especially with the expansion of these programs. The province has downloaded all this, wants it downloaded to the local communities, which in our case, we'll refer to it as Simcoe County. But there's lots of opportunities within that. So reach out to myself, to Doug. We will be glad to go talk to and introduce you to people. If nothing else, to sit down so they're aware of what you do. I saw and hear you're involved with 211. I mean, that's, a great start. And once the people see your name out there, it's a step forward. So please reach out to us, and I'll be happy to, take you over to the county building. We're actually having a heart celebration this week, I believe. Your mayor, coming up, I think on Thursday, to talk about the new heart program. So anyways, but I'll just throw that out towards you if it's of interest. If you're working your magic from the other end with your certification, then maybe we're a little premature, but it wouldn't hurt to talk to county and see if there's anything there and get in touch with the right people who administer the programs at this time.
I would love to.
Yeah. Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Thursday, 11:30. Just saying. You might be driving, right?
Maybe I might come down with something. I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, Paul, for that. That's good information. And thank you, Phyllis, for bringing it up. Is there any other questions from other members? All right. Well, good luck. Stay in touch. I think it's important. We've been building a relationship with you guys for a while now, and I think I think it's great, and keep up the good work. And we
Actually,
appreciate it.
there's two things I wanted to,
Sure.
before I leave. First, I was wondering if it would be possible if Your Honor would be willing to challenge the other townships for the upcoming overdose awareness month.
What are you going to challenge them to do?
Put up a flag, hold a
Sure.
ceremony. And secondly, we are going to be hosting a big run coming up in August for overdose awareness here in Stainer. We're gonna be doing 1K, 5K and 11K around Eco Park.
Oh, wow.
So
You're working with our recreation department on that already, I hope? Yep, good.
yeah,
Okay.
we did. Everything's,
Yeah.
all our I's are dotted, T's crossed.
You know something about the Eco Park? I don't want to run. I want to take my time and enjoy nature.
By all means, you know what?
It is
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful to just take a nice stroll and walk around and
You
see
could
the
do-
trumpeter swans, et cetera, like, you know.
You could do a 10K
Yeah.
walk, no problem.
All right. Well, let's stay in touch and we'll do that. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you very much for being here and good presentation. All right, members of council, we're going to move on in our agenda. Item 5.2, the Troy Scott Memorial Skate Park expansion. One of the leaders behind that is Randy Lamers. He's here tonight. Randy, nice to see you. Come on up and tell us what you're thinking of doing. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, Your Worship, for having me, councilors, fellow staff members. So on the screen here, so for those that don't know me, my name is Randy Lamers. I reside in the town of New Lowell. We built a skate park there in memory of my nephew back in 2017. I think we did the grand opening. Since 2017, we've done small fundraisers here and there to the point where we have over $25,000 sitting in a special account in Troy's name. I am here tonight asking for permission to pay for an expansion to the skate park. So the expansion come back, I believe it was 22,000. You don't get a whole lot for that nowadays, but it will give us an extra 4, whatever you call them, pieces of equipment or whatever. So the piece on the, actually, I think it's one of the next slides. Next. Oh, I'm sure it was, there we go. So the ones in the red are, or pink, whatever you want to call them, are the ones that are existing. And the ones in white are the 4 additional ones that I've met with Canadian Ramp Company to fit within our budget to add to the park.
Okay.
Really, for me, it's just asking your permission to go ahead and make the donation to cover this in full.
All right. Well, thank you very much, first of all, for coming tonight. And thank you to you and your volunteer team that are doing this fundraising to help with the Troy Scott Park. We appreciate that very, very much. Members of council, do you have any quick questions to Randy in regards to his presentation? All right. Yes, do you have something, Paul? Okay.
Randy, I was involved with the skateboard park here years ago. We tried to build one, or we built one in Stainer that we took a temporary one, and I congratulate you guys on building your permanent one. How are the old ones standing up?
So the ones in New Lowell are from the original one that we built for the Canadian Ramp Company. They're fully steel. There are no issues with them whatsoever.
Okay.
They're not a temporary structure there. They're a permanent structure that's bolted to the skate park foundation. And
these new ones will be the same? Are they the fiberglass?
yeah, no, they're the same aluminum or steel, I should say.
Right.
All steel boxes, all steel ramps.
That's great.
Okay.
Over the years, has the ramp company provided you some maintenance or some guidance on maintenance to keep them in good shape? Or
they provided a little, they probably shouldn't admit it. They provided a little maintenance kit for me to take care of it, just to go down, tighten the bolts.
Yeah, and I'm sure that our director of recreation has his staff look at it as well too. Is that right, Terry? Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thanks, Randy.
It was actually very nice. I was there probably 3 weeks ago. And there was 5 young gentlemen there using the park. So I asked them, I said, did you know Troy? They're like, no, we actually are from Barrie. We love this park. We don't mind the drive to use a nice park. So.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. You know, it's funny, just this weekend, I saw a pickup truck with the Troy Scott on the back window, just saying it, you're still out there, which is good. Council, thanks, Randy, for your presentation.
Welcome.
All right. Council, we've put this on our agenda right now as we've moved it up. The clerk and I, when we met, we made sure that we put this up. So Council, I'm going to put this recommendation on the floor right now. And with your indulgence, Randy and his volunteers can be available to answer any questions along with our Director of Public Works. The recommendation says, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PCR 008-2025 as the Troy Scott Memorial Skate Park additions dated June the 23rd, 2025. Item 1, council approve utilizing the $20,000 cash donation made to the township from the Troy Scott Memorial Skateboard Park fundraising group to purchase additional equipment for the skate park located at 5212 County Road 9. Item 2, the council approve the additional equipment and layout as shown in Appendix A to the report provided by the Canadian Ramp Company. And so I'll look for a mover and seconder on that. Mr. Beelen, thank you. And I'll take Deneen as a seconder. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Or Terry, would you like to lead off with any comments about this great fundraising, first of all, that's gone on?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Your Worship. If I may, if I can echo your comments, I would like, on behalf of our department, we would like to commend Mr. Lamers and his group as well. They've continued to fundraise over the last years. I'm sure it must have been challenging during the COVID times, but they didn't lose faith and they didn't lose their momentum. So I want to commend them for doing that. Also, you can tell Mr. Lamers has experience in purchasing this equipment because he reached out to a company that's CSA approved. That's why these equipment is fairly expensive for what you get. They have to be CSA approved to be able to be utilized. And obviously, Mr. Lamers has done his due diligence to be able to do that. So again, I want to commend him on doing that. And I'd be more curious to know if, are they continuing to fundraise moving forward? Are there more enhancements that they want to add, or is this the last phase that his group is doing?
All right. I think the skaters need space to get some momentum going. So you can't put too much equipment in the park, right, Randy? You got to have enough space so that they can, you know.
So the majority of the fundraising that I was responsible for, my daughters have taken over the fundraising efforts, and they've decided to go a different direction. So this will likely be the last expansion to the skate park.
Okay. Thank you so much. Terry, anything further? All right. Members of council, do you have any questions to actually Terry or Randy? Any questions? All right. Seeing none, I'm prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you very much. I appreciate the work that your volunteers are doing. It's great to have this kind of community input and community development. And what a great worthy cause, making good use of our park facilities and keeping them up to date. So well done.
Yeah, it's actually very nice to see the amount of kids that go out there, whether it's with their bicycles, whether it's the little kids with the 3-wheel skateboards.
Sure.
It's always being used. So it's very nice to see.
With the park being that popular that people are coming from other communities to use it.
Yeah.
You know, let's make sure that the signage is updated too, right? Right, Terry? Make sure clearly indicating the Troy Scott Park. Okay. Yes, Paul?
I just want to add one thing to it, Randy. We recognize in Clearview Township, not all kids are into baseball, hockey, lacrosse. These parks provide a phenomenal place for a group of kids who do enjoy the sport. And a lot of them are individuals. So thank you for doing it and keep up the good work.
Okay. All right, guys. Perhaps if you and Terry could keep council up to date as to when that might happen. Kind of nice to see some pictures and, you know. Okay, thanks, guys. Well done. Council, we're going to move on in our agenda. We're on page 3 already. How about that? Public meetings, there are no public meetings tonight. So number 7 is approval of the council meeting minutes. And I have it here, be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minutes of the June 2nd, 2025 council meeting as presented. Mr. Broderick, thank you. Mr. MacArthur, thank you. Any questions on the minutes? Members? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? That carries unanimous. Thank you so much. All right, council, underneath correspondence, we got quite a few things here. So if there's anything you want pulled, we'll do it right away. I'm just going to read them through quick and just don't be afraid to speak up. First of all, there was no closed session today. So there's a release regarding the nominate a business for individual age-friendly champion today, the age-friendly award, that's coming from the county of Simcoe. There's also the chairs and vice chairs representing communities across Simcoe County were confirmed. I was confirmed to one of those, so just wanted to say that I'm in there. County seeking public partner input through the transit review. This is very important, council. The county of Simcoe is reviewing the transit that the county is providing, but at the same time also reviewing transit across the whole area and all of the privately held, or sorry, lower tier government held transit services. So there are a couple of public meetings. There was one held in Wasaga Beach just, I think just recently. There's another few coming up in the area. Plus there's information online to go have a look at this. If you have any comments about transit and how transit's, yes, Paul, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to add to you when you were done there. The mayor and myself did attend our portion of the training last week for it, or the question for it. There's an online survey. And
Yes,
so please participate. It's
very
for
important.
everybody for different questions that are asked, but it's just adding to what the mayor is saying about, it's very important going forward for each community.
absolutely. So that's an important piece there. The next one is the Simcoe County Museum reopens the grounds for modified use. Now, this is exciting. As you know, we are renovating the Simcoe County Museum, and there's a big addition happening there. So basically, all of the indoor exhibits of artifacts has been closed. However, they have decided to open up the grounds and have access to some of the outbuildings, which includes, the construction equipment they have. That's always a big hit for people to go see all that old equipment and see some of it working, et cetera. There's still volunteers that are going to be on the grounds as well. So just keep that in mind for summer activities if you want to take your family out to the grounds. And not to forget too, over at the museum, there's also the Forestry Museum and recognition of the work that goes on for the Simcoe County Forestry. There's a nice building there, talks about the significance of our forests we have across the county as well. And then there's an employment survey happening across the region for summer employment. That's another one. And then the Heart Hub initiative that Paul mentioned earlier, that's coming up. And then there's a release for the Simcoe County receives prestigious age-friendly designation from the World Health Organization, which is pretty significant. We're really pleased to see that. There's been an awful lot of work done on that, on aging in our communities. And I can tell you, as the chair of Human Services, I'm quite pleased to see that this is working out, that we're getting a lot of really good input. There's a lot of people who are aging well here in our community because they're staying active and staying healthy and staying engaged in their communities as well. So that's important. The NVCA, they've got a working group to support Ontario housing and economic development goals. That's important. And request for support for Bill 5, that is added to our agenda by Mr. Broderick. So that is on our agenda. But before we get to that one, is there any questions on the previous 6 or so that I've read? Anything further, Paul? No? Okay. Then, all right, we're going to move right to Mr. Broderick. Mr. Broderick has an addition. He's got a recommendation put on here. It's just a couple of paragraphs. Mr. Broderick, I will put this on the floor. I'll read it out loud and I'll consider you the mover. And then I'll look for a seconder on this recommendation. All right. Recommendation be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby support the Township of Archipelago regarding Bill 5, Protecting Ontario by Unleashing Our Economy Act 2025, recognizing that the proposed legislation will undermine critical environmental species and heritage protection laws, introducing significant economic, environmental, social, and cultural uncertainty, endangering Ontario's 249 at-risk species, and potentially infringing on the legal and constitutional rights of the Ontario public. And that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honorable Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Honorable Todd McCarthy, Minister of Environment, Conservation of Parks, the Honorable Prabhat Singh Sarkira, Minister of Transportation, the Honorable Stephen Lecce, Minister of Energy Mines, and Brian Saunderson, our MPP for Simcoe Grey. Mr. Broderick will be the mover. Is there a seconder? Mr. Walker will be the seconder. Thank you very much. Mr. Broderick, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just thought it was important to basically for somebody to speak up, and I would like support from council on this. My fear is, and I understand where the Premier's going with this. I understand what he's trying to accomplish. But my fear is that like too many things, it goes too far. And until somebody actually says anything, it continues. That's about it.
Thank you. We hear. I respect what the counselor has spoken before me. As somebody who works both from our local level and on the county level, we see the importance of growth in our community. And nobody will, since tell anybody in this, on our staff, on our council, has not worked hard to create growth for our community. What we've had to go through for the last several years. Is it right? Is it wrong? I can't say that. But we're getting support right now from our provincial partner to develop and help our community grow. I don't ever want to live in a community that is going backwards. And we have, and I will recognize certain components of the bill that will, from an environmental have concerns. If you noticed in our previous 8.9 comments, the NVCA has established a working group to look at the concerns being identified from an environmental point of view in our community. They, for one, are our strong environmental watchdog, and our new CAO for the NVCA is a very strong woman and is very concerned and is working with us to make sure we make the right decisions. However, saying that, the economic, social, and cultural initiatives that we need for this area, we need the support of our elected officials. And I don't want to send a flag that says, hey, we're now stepping from what we've done all these last several years. Recognizing what Councillor Broderick has said, there are, they've talked about Indigenous consultation, they've talked about the environmental issues. There will be checks and balances put in the way I read this. And I, for one, will not support this recommendation. I think there's other things we can support, but this is not one of them in its form. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to speak on this. So who would like to go next? Mr. Beelan, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Yeah,
Thought I'd
I've
follow
noticed.
Paul there. This bill has already passed,
Yes.
so it's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I don't think there's any purpose in supporting this. Thanks.
All right. All right. Other members? Mr. MacArthur?
Yeah, I have to agree with the deputy. Yeah, there are bits and pieces in this that hopefully they'll maybe correct as time goes along. They've learned through the Greenbelt and some of their past initiatives that they came out guns a-blazing, and then the more it went on, they realized that they'd maybe stepped too far. So I'm thinking that this Bill 5 will probably take the same steps.
All right. Thank you. Deneen, would you like to speak?
Just that I recognize that it's already been passed as well, but it's with the Senate now. So maybe the Senate will look at it and maybe they'll send it back to them. It's hard to say what will happen after that, but it's at the
Okay.
Senate now.
Thank you. Mr. Walker?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm kind of like Councillor Broderick, where I know it's been passed, but I think if we don't voice an opinion with regards to that fact, there are some areas of that need to be re-looked at, then they will assume that everything is okay. And some parts of that are not okay. So I think that we need to at least support some of those other municipalities saying, you know what, in part, it's passed, but in part, there's areas that need to be re-looked at. So hopefully, it's like every other thing that they do, though. They usually jump too far and then try and figure out how to go backwards. But I think we need to voice your opinion on this process.
All right. Thank you. Any other members want to speak first before I go speak? Go ahead, Paul, again.
I kind of agree with what Councillor Walker just said. There are certain areas that should be spoken to, but the wording from the Township of Archipelago is a direct no to Bill 5. And we're a little late to the table for that. Can we possibly look at sending a letter or at a certain time after we see where Bill 5 has gone to, commenting on that, as opposed to shooting down everything they're trying to do, from our economic point of view? Because I would agree with Councillor Broderick, from an environmental, I wouldn't have an issue with questioning the components of C5 in that respect.
All right, nobody else? All right, I'm gonna, or do you want to speak again, John?
I was just going to say I would support that.
Well, there you go. Are you asking for an amendment, guys? Is that what you're doing?
I think we are.
Well, I'd like to have the clerk interpret that because I thought we were just about to vote on it. But anyway, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Since this motion is specific to supporting Archie Pello's support resolution, my suggestion is if you're wanting to see how it plays out over the next 6 months or so, is that you either bring a council report or a notice of motion requesting specifics of maybe what's not working with the legislation or what is working with the legislation, and either withdraw this motion or vote it down, or we can do an amendment. But if you're looking to have that time period to kind of see what's going on, maybe let this one fall at this table and move forward with a council report or a notice of motion at a future meeting.
Yeah, I think at this time I'll withdraw it.
You're going to withdraw it?
Yep.
Okay.
I like the idea of,
Hey, every member has a right to bring something forward
Yep.
through a notice of motion if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah,
Right.
and this would probably address my concerns better.
Okay. Phyllis?
I just want to thank Councillor Broderick for bringing this forward and making us think twice about it. And I think we can do our own part in this as well. Thanks.
All right. All right. I'm going to cut off discussion, but I do have to say my piece on this, if you don't mind, and then we'll move on. First of all, the legislation has already passed the House, and it's already been signed by the Lieutenant Governor and Council. So it's effectively a law. So what we are dealing with here is, Canada, Ontario, Simcoe County, and Clearview are all engaged in, a worldwide economic crisis, in the fact that we are so far behind our other partners around the world, so far behind as a country, and speeding up approval processes, designating special economic zones is done in most of the other G7 countries. It's not done in this country because we have very long and well-worded environmental protection statements, as well as the statements that are there as part of the indigenous nations who have their concerns about their territories, and they rightfully and duly do have them. What I found most interesting to me about the whole Bill 5 discussion was that the indigenous community stood up and said that they weren't being consulted. Then you got a whole bunch of other people standing up saying, hey, the indigenous communities are not being consulted. And yet the premier stood up and said, the indigenous people aren't being consulted. They're coming to Queen's Park. We're going to have a meeting. And the province of Ontario has made it very clear that they are going to be consulting with indigenous communities in Northern Ontario in regards to these special economic zones, where they intend to bring economic wealth to those communities to help correct the transportation links that they have to those communities by doing these economic zones, and also to deal with the natural resources that are available to all Canadians to help move our economy forward. So I look at it that this, unfortunately, we're in a worldwide situation where the communities of Canada, Ontario, Northern Ontario, and us, we all have to consider that we have to move forward faster and be prepared to deal with change and be prepared to use the tools that are available to us all to make sure that we stay economically healthy. And this is where the basis of this legislation, I believe, comes from. And I think that the Ontario government unfortunately had to put forward a really difficult piece of legislation underneath difficult times. That's where they are. And I also think that we do have great environmental protections that are already in place. It does not and should not affect this community of Clearview Township in any way. But I think that this is, there's been a lot of politicizing going on over this Bill 5. There was huge week-long protests in front of MPP's offices. And that's great. And I'm glad people have the opportunity to do that. But in the end, what we're dealing with here is this is a worldwide problem. And Canada is falling behind. And I think that Premier Ford and his provincial government have given the opportunity for Ontarians to move forward. So I look forward to us seeing how this all plays out. But I do think that the facts are in play, that we have to face them, and change is something that's really difficult for all of us, right? People hate two things: change and the way things are. So we have to make sure that we get a compromise to make that move forward. So that's my opinion on all this. And well, I thank the member, Mr. Broderick, for putting this on our agenda. Thank you for bringing it up. It is a little too late because it's already passed the provincial legislation. So we'll watch for this. I can speak from my role as a member of the Niagara Escarpment Commission. I'm a commissioner on the NEC, and we're dealing with these type of things in the NEC area as well, where there's a whole lot of change to how the NEC gets used. And there's we're going to be going into a review period of the NEC, all the legislation. And there's a lot of things in the legislation talking about that we need to change the size of some of these homes that are being built in the Niagara Escarpment region. FYI, there was a 30,000 square foot home built in the Niagara Escarpment Commission area. Regulated lands, 30,000 square foot. To which I commented at the meeting, why wouldn't you just rent a closed Walmart store? I mean, that's how big it is. It's crazy how big this house is. But nevertheless, somebody can't get a garage built because the NEC rules are too restrictive. They can't build a little garage on their property, but oh no, you can get a 30,000 square foot. So we need to change a lot of legislations. And are we actually protecting the environment by using the legislative tools that were written in the 70s and 80s? I don't know. So I think that the province has done right by us by putting this Bill 5 in, but I'm disappointed that it's a difficult time that we have to do it. And this is part of the economy that we're all dealing with. Let's just hope that we can get past all this tariff stuff and dealing with our friends to the south. Council, I'd like to move on at this time. We're going to move to item number 9, council reports and committee announcements. The arrow is pointed at Mr. Broderick, but since you've already had a lot to say already, I'm going to go to Mr. Walker. How's that? Give you a break. Robert, you're up.
Thank you, Your Worship. For ward reports, we have June 5th. We were at the Accessibility Committee. We're at the booth on Music Market and Parket for the Thursday evening. On June the 7th, we were at the Trail Tunes, and it was very enjoyable. Andrew Bronte and his friend biked from New Lowell with their bikes, and those bikes had a lot of interest from the other bikers that came on the trails in looking at them, talking to Andrew and his friend about how they operated and how they worked. So it's quite knowledgeable. He was quite knowledgeable on that bike, and it was good to see him come that way and test. Trail, he said, was really good except for a couple of soft areas, but other than that, the trail was pretty good. On June the 10th, we did have our Accessibility Committee meeting. On June 11th, I attended the Culture, Sports, and Hall of Fame, and I was very honored to be one of 3 to receive the 2024 Lifetime Contributions to Community Award, along with John Squire and the late Charlie McNabb. On June the 12th, Music Market and Parket. On the 13th, I was involved, went to the Clearview Firefighter Awards night. And again, what a great night. Awards for our firefighters who are so deserving of all those awards, but the whole department on their ability to communicate with people, to professionalism, and their contribute and their care towards the residents of Clearview and the other areas that we have partnerships with, as well as the tourists that come through that are in need of support or help. They're a great outfit, and I'd put them up against any other department in this area. On the 21st, I attended an 80th birthday party for Walter Nobes and John Vanderstelt. And I believe that's it, Your Worship.
Well, let's not let it pass here at this council table that Robert Walker has served this community more than 30 years as an elected official, but has a lifetime of contributions to this community. And so I thought it was very, very appropriate that the committee recognized you, Robert. And so I want to congratulate you and thank your family for all of the times that you've given up or taken time away from them to be part of this community. And so we're really pleased that that was able to be presented to you. And I'd ask for our council to join me in congratulating Robert. Well done, sir. I'm sure Judy thinks it's pretty nice too. She does. Mr. Beelan, how you feeling, sir?
Pretty good. Thank you, Your Worship. I really haven't done much since the last meeting. I want to thank other members of council for filling me in while I was convalescing. June 4th, we had a Climate Action Committee meeting. The Clearview Sustainability Network did a presentation. And last week on June 18th, there was a Station on the Green Board meeting, and all's well there. That's all I got.
All right. Glad to see you're back to yourself. Good job. Councillor Deneen, how are you?
Very well, thank you. I don't have a lot because I've had a lot of personal commitments in the last couple of weeks. Just Duntroon Hall meeting was on June 10th, and the part of the hall that was damaged and the rehab is doing very well there. Little stalled, I understand, because of insurance claims. There were a lot of them. And the next July 6th is the next Library Days at the Nottawa Hall. And that's it for me. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. It's good. Good for you getting a time off there. Right on. Mr. Van Staveren, would you like to go next?
I sure can. First of all, since our last meeting, Sports and Culture Hall of Fame, everybody had a little talk about that. It was a really nice night, and Ariana and the mayor did a great job presenting or handing out the awards, and Ariana was quite a new breath of fresh air, so to speak. She was quite entertaining. The comment made about the music market and park at June 12th, we had Hogback Road playing, and it is so nice to see local bands that are created in mostly predominantly Clearview residents. Did a fantastic job, and they're sure getting their name out there. They were very entertaining. We did the Clearview Fire Awards on June 13th. And boy, the fire department's got a comment to the gentlemen and ladies there. You can really tell they're starting to get along and blending well. And it was so nice to see all the new applications we got coming forward and recruits. So keep it going. They're doing a bang up job for us. June 19th, I was at the Creedon Valley Heritage Day, which for some may know, I'd never been into Creedon Valley before. And all the staff there, it's such a multicultural staff. They've got people from all over the world, and they all got dressed up in their, we'll say, their local attire and made food. So you walk around, and they had a gentleman there playing, Bill Threader playing guitar. And the only problem with the whole event was it started to rain. We're in the outside court and freezing, you know what. But anyways, it was a really good night that way. We did do I missed the transportation review on June 17th. We did that with the county, so we've already talked about that one a bit. This past Saturday, I did quickly drop in to see the Helix Pharmacy, which is in the West End Plaza. It wasn't a brand new, but they've been open for a while, but they did their official opening. So it was really nice to see. And it's a compounding pharmacy in this community right beside the car wash. And good luck, and a very well received and warm reception from the owners. So thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for filling in and covering for a lot of the events across our township. That's what we want to do. We want to share that around with everybody. So good for you. Mr. MacArthur.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's already been said. Yeah, I attended the Culture and Sports Awards and the Fire Awards, and both great events and well-deserved to all the winners, and keep up the good work, staff who put these events on. Last Thursday, we had anticipation of touring the evening hall as it neared its completion, but that rug got pulled out from underneath us, but we met anyway and are planning to expand the sound system once we do get in there. And it's coming together. The directors promised us. Have you promised in writing? No. Mid-August, I think, is the date that we should be wrapped up there. And then the mayor mentioned the weather on Thursday and then the weather on Saturday, but Friday, the sun came out over Creemore for the summer solstice, which a lot of you attended as well. Just, I don't know where the people come from. I have no idea, but it was a fantastic event and great time was had by all. And the entertainment was top notch. And yesterday I attended the Lavender Cemetery Board's annual general meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Good job. Mr. Broderick.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll start with June 2nd, attended Northern Light Lodge's elections. June the 5th, attended the Warden's Gala at Three Feathers Terrace in Innisfil. On June the 7th, attended the Farms for Change event at the new Farm Center. June 10th, attended the Clearview Chamber of Commerce executive meeting. June 11th, attended the Clearview Hall of Fame Sports and Culture Awards evening. June the 13th, attended the Clearview Firefighters and Emergency Services Awards and Appreciation evening. The 15th, partook in the Clearview Chamber of Commerce's Father's Day Car Wash, where we collected $305 in donations for Brad's Place Addiction Treatment Center. June the 17th, attended the Clearview Public Library meeting. Also on the 17th, the Clearview Chamber of Commerce members meeting. June the 19th, hosted along with LCDC Coatings, the Clearview Chamber of Commerce Business After 5 event. June the 20th, attended the summer solstice event in Creemore, and yeah, it was busy.
It was. Thank you. I must say the summer solstice event was a real pleasure to attend. Tracy and I went to the event and got there at a decent time. We thought place was packed. There was line dancing going on. Recognized lots of the line dancers out there. They were having a really good time. All of the outdoor, let's call them, street vendors that were vending food were busy. Everybody was lined up. I thought I'd go get a burger over at the Bank Cafe because Friday night burgers at the Bank Cafe are some of the best burgers around. And boy, that was a lineup too. It was pretty crowded in there, and it was a good burger and really nice. Sat down with some great folks. They were there from just outside of Alliston. They had driven up because he works in the township and was up there with his family. So his family came up to join him after work, and they had a really nice time. So it was just a great social time. Ran into all kinds of people from our community as well as other communities. Yeah, it was a really great event. And I must add too that the street just looked great as far as decorations go. The BIA folks who decorated the street, they added the little bannering that went across the street, zigzagged across the street, and then the Village Green Park looked really terrific too, with ribbons all over. And it was just a really good, comfortable event. The weather was just fine, and the band, the entertainment was terrific. Tara Lightheart, let me tell you, she has a Tara Lightfoot. She can play the guitar. Holy moly, she's a real guitar player. She was something, and it was really great to see that. People just had a great time. And had a brief conversation with our director here of Public Works, of Recreation. Garbage seems to be the bigger issue. I know members of the BIA, if you're on the BIA committee down there, we talk about garbage a lot down there, just like we do at the county. Paul. We talk about garbage. The BIA, had to deal with a lot of waste materials because of all of the takeout food that was being provided. So there was a little bit of waste management problem going on, but you never really notice it unless you sort of were standing next to a garbage pile. So let me tell you, great event, great partnerships all around, Village Green, BIA, Township of Clearview. It was just great. It was really well done. And there's nothing better than standing, there having a Creemore on the street. Just saying. I liked it and enjoyed it. So, yeah, great event. Very happy I went. Did a lot of other things this week too, including, as I mentioned earlier, my Niagara Escarpment Committee meeting. And I also attended the opening over at Penetanguishene. We had 16 new beds added to the Georgian Manor over there. And so it was a big celebration. It's a great facility over there for long-term care facility we have at the county. I was happy to be there as the chair of Human Services. Yeah, I do want to mention this Thursday. This Thursday coming up is another super busy day here in Clearview Township. Not only is Music Market and Parket happening, but also it's CCI graduation. And so to all the graduates at Stainer Collegiate, we wish them all the best and congratulations to those that are moving on. I know that there'll be lots of people in the auditorium for 7 o'clock on Thursday night. I've been invited to be there on your behalf, so looking forward to that. Prior to that, in the afternoon, I'll be at the Collingwood Collegiate graduation ceremony. This time, for the first time ever, this CCI graduation is going to be held in Wasaga Beach. It's going to be at the Wasaga Beach Stars Arena, which is kind of neat, the brand new arena. So we'll see how that hosts this type of event. I know that they've done some big concert events there for sure, but we'll see how the graduation ceremony goes. This is be interesting to see. So I'll be participating in that. Just before the meeting, I confirmed that our deputy mayor is going to be at
I'll be at the Our Lady of the Bay.
Our Lady of the Bay graduation.
I'll
Thank
be
you.
working with my daughter who is doing the.
Oh, she's doing that.
She's doing the emceeing with some other members' families as well. So it'd be nice. I'll be representing our community there.
Excellent. Thank you very much for doing that. And I'm sure other members of council may be attending some of the school, elementary school grads. I don't know, Phyllis, are you going to be at Nottawa? No, not yet? Okay. All right. I just thought I'd check. I know that often we do see an invite for that one. So anyway, my congratulations. And on behalf of the township, congratulations to all the grads. And looking forward to Thursday. It'll be a super busy day in our township. Lots of things on the go. All right, council, let's move on in our agenda if there's nothing
Doug?
further. Yes.
Just a quick comment.
Sure.
I did not attend the event, but I did go by and congratulations
Oh,
again to Rough Mudder.
Yes.
I was running around, but they all our tents were up there. I saw that, so I'm not sure what role we played and everything, but as a signature event, the parking lot, I won't call it a parking lot. The hay pasture, the horse pasture was full with vehicles and people running around. So congratulations. It looks like they had a great event, and we will continue to support them where we can. So
Absolutely. It's a great event right here in our township.
good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you. If there's nothing further, we'll move on. Okay, council, looking at our next part of our agenda, section number 10, Building and Planning Department, Delegated Authority and Planning Act Approval Summary. And we have Collins here. Hi, Colin. Let me read the recommendation. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report PB 025-2025, Delegated and Other Planning Act Approval Summary, dated June 2025. It's for June 2025, dated June 23rd, 2025. For information. Is there a mover and seconder, please? Mr. Broderick, Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Colin, do you have anything you want to say to this? I believe this is part of the Committee of Adjustment works.
Yes, Committee of Adjustment and any site plan approvals. I have nothing to add, but I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Members of council, do you have any questions to Colin about this report? Seeing none? All right, thank you, Colin, for attending, and I appreciate you being there to make yourself available for questions. If there's nothing further, I'll call the motion. All those in favor? Carries unanimous. Well done. Okay, moving on. The CAO has a report regarding the Creemore Downtown Streetscapes public meeting communications plan. And I know that our representative of that committee work is here. Briar, nice to see you. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report CAO 007 2025, the Creemore Downtown Streetscapes Public Meeting dated June 23rd, 2025 for information. Mr. MacArthur and Mr. Broderick, thank you very much for that, gentlemen. Briar, do you have anything you want to add to this? I'm really looking forward to seeing the drawings of this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Measures. Nothing to add further to the report. Just again, it's informational to notify council and members of the public that there will be a public meeting hosted by Creemore BIA, and it's not necessarily providing any drawings or designs at this point. It's more of a feedback engagement piece with the community. Through the phase 1 of this project, we have determined that there are a number of different measures that can be taken through this design process. So it's designed that our consultants, the ERA architects, will be providing a brief presentation during this meeting, outlining 7 key areas of what they are evaluating right now, and providing a broad range of different ideas and concepts that they're looking at. Some of those examples are gateway features, streetscape upgrades, wayfinding signage, and really gauging the interest from the community, the BIA members, on what they see as priority areas. And the feedback that we receive from this public meeting will feed into the phase 2, which is where we will see the designs and drawings come through.
Okay. What's the date of the public meeting?
It is July 20th from 12 to 2. It is a Sunday and it'll be at Creemore Station on the Green.
Station on the Green. Okay. July 20th, Station on the Green. Okay, thank you very much for that. Members of council, do you have any questions to Briar? Yes, go ahead there, Mr. MacArthur.
Yeah, just comment. I'm also on the committee and as your council rep, and just, yeah, it's been a tremendous amount of communications and lots of different ideas. And I can't say enough that we want to make this a totally public concept that appeases everybody in the town. So encourage everybody to come out to the meeting on July 20th.
Excellent. Okay. Other members? Any questions? Well, thank you, Briar. I appreciate the work that you and the committee and our counselor are doing. I think we have some other staff members on it as well. So it's a good committee, and I'm really glad that that we're getting somewhere on this. And I look forward to the public input. So let's make sure that we communicate that July 20th date as best we can. I'm sure there must be a communications plan for it's part of this report, obviously, but what type of communications they're going to do with the paper as well as any radio sort of notification, that'd be great.
Absolutely. We'll be doing all those outlining the communications plan. Our partners at the table, Creemore BIA and the Creemore Foundation as well, will be helping to amplify those messaging pieces out there as well. So we're expecting a great public meeting, gaining lots of great feedback to apply towards our plan, as well as there'll be some signage around the Village Green as well during the weekend leading up, because there are a couple events. So hoping to get a bit more exposure that way as well.
100%. Thank you very much. Members of council, you got a motion in front of you. I am prepared to call the motion. All those in favor? That's also unanimous. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to take a little breath here. This one is from our legislative services. This is a request from the County of Simcoe that this council review a bylaw that was passed called 7119-25. It's a county bylaw, and this has to do with the composition of county council. So I've had a discussion with my clerk, or our clerk, about how we're going to proceed for this particular discussion. So what I'd like to do, first of all, for members of council, this is a complicated issue, and I think both the deputy mayor and I will have some conversation about this, and we can help answer. I hope that you've had the opportunity to consider this. And what I'll do is I'll read the recommendation. I will look for a mover and seconder to put it on the floor. And after that point, I'm then going to basically pass it to the clerk to allow the clerk to get us to the point where we can actually call the motion, which I would like to have as a recorded motion. So I'm going to mark that out as a recorded motion. Okay, council? All right. Everyone gets an opportunity to speak on this if they wish, and everybody has an opportunity to give us your opinion for the future of council. This is the recommendation. Be it resolved that council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 011-2025, County Composition Bylaw, Lower Tier Municipal Approval, dated June 23rd, 2025. Item 1, the Council of the Township of Clearview consents to County of Simcoe Bylaw 7119-25, being a bylaw to change the composition of council of the corporation of the County of Simcoe. And item 2, that staff be directed to send a copy of this resolution to the county clerk. All right. Can I get a mover and second to put it on the floor? Deputy Mayor and Mr. MacArthur, I'll take. Thank you very much. All right. So as I said, I'm going to pass the chair in a moment over to the clerk, but I want the council to know each of us should speak to this. And if you have any questions about it, you can ask directly to the clerk. So let's go to questions first. Anybody have any questions to the clerk on what this is about? Mr. Walker.
Thank you, Your Worship. So everything is, again, clarity, everything is in one motion.
That's correct.
The downsizing as
Madam
well
Clerk.
as the weighted vote. That's all part and parcel of the one motion.
Thank you, Worship, through you to Councillor Walker. So this main one is about the composition. However, weighted vote is spoken to in the bylaw briefly, but I know County Council has committed to speak about the weighted vote separately through their procedure bylaw review. And I don't know where those discussions have fully ended up, but both of your representatives on County Council can update Council on that. Because even though they are separate issues, it is spoken about in composition, and I know it definitely affects the more rural municipalities, and that's where the conversation has been centered around.
Yep.
All right. Everybody's okay with what it says? Just to review for the members of the public who haven't read this, the bylaw 7119-25 is a bylaw that would reduce the number of members of county council to 16. It would then designate the mayor to attend the county council meetings representing this municipality. It would then give opportunity for the deputy mayor to be the alternate for that representation. And then it would also create a warden system where the warden would be a full-time position. And that warden would be appointed by members of county council. And it can be anyone from Simcoe County who is an electorate in Simcoe County. The trick here is that warden's position does not have to be an elected official. So I just want to be clear so the public know that. Madam Clerk, is that correct? That's pretty much, that's what it says. Okay, there is some discussion about the weighted vote issue. Just to help update everybody, Paul, you can help me out here. The weighted vote was put back to the governance committee. Governance committee came back with a whole group of recommendations. County council then reviewed the recommendations and voted on individual ones. And I'll just give you a small one. In the example of the weighted vote and how the weighted vote gets used at county for the appointment of committee chairs or vice chairs, there is no weighted vote. Currently, the bylaw would say that a weighted vote could be used in the appointment of a chairperson. So our committee at the governance committee decided that's kind of silly. Just, for the chairs of each board or each business section of the county, one vote, one seat. That's how it would go. That motion passed. So county council has changed the procedure bylaw for that section. The other thing that's really interesting, at the county procedure bylaw, the current bylaw allowed, if a vote happens, let's say a vote happens and it goes, 15 to 617, immediately following the vote, or the announcement of the results, any member can ask for a recorded vote, and you'd have to redo it again. And this time it would be recorded, and then it would apply the weighted vote system. And that changed the vote. At our county council meeting, we had a vote that went 17 opposed, 15 in favor. In any other council, that would obviously be a vote that didn't pass. The weighted vote changed that balance so that the 17, right, did not, or did not have the weights to exceed the 15. So 15 weighted votes carried above the 17. Kind of looks silly. Honestly, I voted against that whole situation, but that did not change at the county. So that's still in place. Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Just to add to that, to clarify, at county level, we will now have 3 types of votes.
Yes.
We will have a simple vote, but we have a
Show of hands.
show of hands. So if it goes from 16, it'll be 16, whatever, or the majority rules, 51%. There's a recorded vote. So in certain circumstances, people want their community to know that they voted for or against the motion. It's a simple recorded vote. That's no problem. The weighted vote is going to be still in place because that was put in years ago to give some of the larger communities some extra clout in certain circumstances. Fine. Now it can only be 1 vote can be taken at any time. You will be no more duplication of voting. In other words, if somebody asks for a recorded vote, that's it. If you want a weighted vote, you have to announce it before any other vote is taken. So that's going forward. It's cleaned up. I'll say to the mayor, it's cleaned up a lot of our situations that caused frustration in the past. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Does that help, Mr. Walker?
To a certain degree, but
Yes. The but
But-
there.
that opportunity for those 4 or 5 municipalities to control the other 11
Yes.
or 12 is huge.
Yes.
And it may not necessarily be those elected in this year, but you've got to look down the road to the next term or the term after. If you get the wrong individuals in the wrong positions, then the 4 are going to rule the whole county or the 5. And so I still cannot support the motion with regard because of the weighted vote is still an opportunity for that to take place. It should be 1-on-1, period, all the way across the board. It simplifies everything. And where else is there a weighted vote in politics? Not federal, not provincial, any other municipalities, any other boards? I'm not aware of. If there is, that's fine. But to me, I don't know why this is still a sticking point and has to stay. So that's just my comment. It's the but that I still don't like.
Thank you very much. I just asked the clerk if she could explain something about why this motion is coming forward today.
Thank you, Worship. So then if majority of councils representing a majority of the electors consent to this, the bylaw will come into effect for the next term of county council. And built into this bylaw is a kind of a release clause that if triple majority is not received by January 1st of 2026, it dies on that table. So even though that bylaw has been passed by county council, it has a release clause if it doesn't receive that triple majority, so that it's not hanging over council's head.
Okay. Anybody else with any other questions or comments they'd like to add? All right. I'm going to pass the chair to the clerk. The clerk can then call the voting.
Thank you, Worship. Is there any other council members that would like to speak to the motion on the floor? Councillor MacArthur?
Yeah, so just Deputy, you talked about the weighted vote. So is it still a work in progress? Is there still discussions or is it pretty much hammered, nailed down with the 3 steps that you just explained?
It'll be dealt with in bylaw. Okay, and that's the big thing to recognize. There's always the ability to deal with stuff within the bylaw, but the weighted vote, which is, how do I put it? There was a lot of people who did not even want to compromise on the single vote. So for a lot of people, a lot of communities, this is still a compromise. When your Councillor Walker's comment about the weighted vote, even with what we have now or what we're going to, it will not disappear no matter what we do. It's going to be staying put. Recognizing the ask for what we try, and I'll back up a bit. What we originally started out by doing was trying to create an environment where we could attract younger, new politicians to come to the table. We started by giving pay raises to the councillors for the next term so that we could get people who could afford to be a politician. Okay, we got a bunch of us gray-haired guys there. Some of us are gray, anyways. That are, that are good for the community. But there's new ideas. There's new things out there. So when we came up with that idea, then all of a sudden they say, well, our costs are going up, and then there was the opinion that the province wants us to downsize and get smaller, more effective representation with smaller communities. Understanding that we get, for example, Clearview, we get 6 votes between the mayor and myself. He gets 3, I get 3. Most of the time we do agree and we do vote together. So it is a block in a sense, but we see many a time where communities vote against each other. Going forward, it's one person to control the community's votes. And that's not going to change. Like, it's going to still have, you comment about 4, there's actually, I believe, 6 members that could theoretically, with a weighted vote, throw a vote one way or another. They'll carry the power. But saying that, within that 6, we do have some dominant people, some dominant mayors, but we do also have some level-headed people. And if we hadn't used a double voting system in the past, there would not be a lot of situations where a weighted vote would have been effective. And I just make that comment because they had to go back to use that weighted vote to get what they wanted, sort of thing. So you got to think, we're not losing vote. We're not losing the power of our vote. We are consolidating it to the person that's representing our table here. And so we put strength within our, our Doug, the mayor, and I shouldn't say that because for the next election, ultimately, we are getting rid of the deputy mayor's position on county council. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? There's, you got to think about that. But as far as the power of the vote is concerned, it's still represented equally by what we've done in the past by your mayor. So let's just say some can be dealt with by law, your comment, but some can't be. And the weighted vote, the representation is not going to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I just want to reference that even this composition vote is a weighted vote. Because even if you guys choose to consent to this, a majority of electors in our lower tier municipalities have to consent to it. So the magic number is 9, but if you don't have those communities that have the most electors, it might not pass still. Councillor Deneen?
I have concerns about it becoming just 16 officials. If the person that they choose to be warden is an elected official, there's got to be a by-election after that person has been just elected to wherever they are. Well, obviously a mayor or whatever. So non-elected official taking over as warden just doesn't sit well with me. Time needed for the committees. Again, you go down to 16 people. I spoke earlier with the deputy mayor, and they could cut back on their representation at the committees. But they need to look at that ahead of time, I think, before they go forward with this, because our mayor isn't full-time, and they're going to ask a lot of those people. And again, to your point about younger people aren't going to have the time that's going to be needed to sit on this council. And that has to be addressed as well. And that's my opinion. Thanks. I can't support this either.
Any other questions or comments from council? Mayor Mishers?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to support what Councillor Dini was saying, particularly about the warden's position. This bylaw, as presented by County Council, would create a full-time warden. And the warden would be selected from anyone across all of Simcoe County who is an elector. So literally anyone who is a citizen who is on a voters list in the 16 municipalities. FYI, the 2 separated cities of Orillia and Barrie would not be included. But if you're an elector in any of the 16 municipalities, you would qualify to be a candidate. The candidate would then need to apply. So it's submit a letter and perhaps a resume, then would go through interviews that would be public because it would be a public process where they would stand in front of the 16 members of the House and they would give their speech, answer questions, and then council would be required, county council would be required to vote in open session as to who they would choose. There would no secret ballot. So that's the interesting part about how this all works. And I'm afraid I'm not in support of hiring or appointing an elected official who's then going to serve a 4-year term, who doesn't have a mandate because is not elected by people, you know, or gone through a municipal election to actually be elected. They need to be an elected official if they're going to be an elected official. That's simple. You know, we have procedures in place where, you know, if we, at the start of a term, everyone is elected, right? And if someone leaves our council table, which has happened in this council, and then we go out to the electors in our community and find someone who wants to be on that position, or we can go back to our original ballot and look at people who have already been, you know, elected by members of the public, and we can appoint them to finish the term. Councillor Deneen, your first term here, that's how you were. And we appreciate you for being that person who put your name on the ballot, had people actually put votes in your support. And we as a council at the time voted to appoint you to that position to fulfill the term. The case for this warden's position, this would be a full-time position and the person would be appointed right at the beginning of the 4-year term and would not have been an elected official, not be a mandated person elected or appointed through the electoral process that we have, would not have received a mandate from the public, would only receive a mandate from the 16-member House. And then that person would be literally it would be effectively the top politician in Simcoe County, having not been elected. I don't think that's right. I'm not supporting that. Thank you. Back to the clerk.
May I'd like, even if it was another mayor or somebody of their peers on the council already, there would still have to be a by-election
Yes.
done and that would cost, again. I just don't get this at all. It just doesn't make sense to me at this point. Sorry.
Thank you. And I think that's a good point to make, that with new strong mayor powers, there isn't the option to appoint a mayor position. It has to be a by-election under those powers. So it would cost the municipality if a mayor was chosen as the warden position. Is there any other questions, comments? Are we ready to call the vote? A recorded vote has been requested by Mayor Measures. Does anybody need me to read the motion again, or we're pretty clear as mud here on what's being proposed? We're good? Okay. So when I call your name, can you please state your vote by saying yes if you're in favor of the motion or no if you're not? Since Mayor Measures requested the recorded vote, we're going to start with you first. Mayor Measures?
Thank you. I'm opposed, so no.
Deputy Mayor Van Stavern?
Opposed.
Councillor Beelan?
Opposed? No.
Councillor Walker?
No.
Councillor Broderick?
I'm going to be the odd man out here. Yes.
Councillor MacArthur?
No.
And Councillor Deneen?
No.
The motion does not pass. I will pass the chair over to Mayor Measures.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Council, it's fun to have a recorded motion every once in a while. That's why I wanted to do that there. Thank you very much, folks. All right. Thank you, Council, for your good conversation on this very important point. Let's move to our next report. We've got some meeting management software. Talk about meeting management. Tell ya. Be it resolved, the Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 012-2025, meeting management software procurement dated June 23rd, 2025. Item 1, the council accepts the proposal from eScribe for a meeting management software in the annual amount of $17,350 excluding HST and annual increases. And item 2, that council approves funding the additional $5,000 above the budgeted amount from the tax stabilization reserve. Can I get a mover and seconder? Mr. Broderick, thank you. And Mr. Walker, thank you. Madam Clerk, or whoever wants to speak to this, can we talk about what the annual increases is, so we are very transparent for the public here?
Thank you, Worship. So the annual increase for eScribe we're recommending would be 4%, and Diligent, which is iCompass, would be 6%.
Okay, so a 4% increase annually per year as it moves along. All right. Is there any other comments you want to bring in about this software and how you came to this recommendation?
Thank you, Worship. So both quoted similar pricing, as you can see, and both have the same type of services, and they are the two main companies in the business. eScribe comes a little bit forward for us because of its work with Microsoft Office and being able to pull things out into Microsoft Word a little bit easier than you can do with iCompass. It can still be done, but the templates are easier with eScribe. And for us clerks, that means the world when we need to make some accessible changes to some of our templates and document. Both have the same implementation timeline, both provide very similar customer service. So it kind of came down to dollars and cents for the annual increases, and definitely to be able to use the templates in Microsoft Office.
All right. Mr. CIO, mark down this date that the clerk is looking for her software to make it easy. So when it has a failure, we can just remember the 23rd of June. All right. Members of council, do you have any questions to our clerk or other staff? All right, seeing none, thank you, Madam Clerk. Council, I'm prepared to call the resolution. All those in favor? And that carries unanimously. Thank you. Let's see, next report is LS 13-2025, the Integrity Commissioner's Periodic Report, June 23rd till June 2023 to April 2025. Okay. And there's also an appendix to this report. Be it resolved that Council of the Township of Clearview hereby receive report LS 013-2025, Integrity Commissioner's Periodic Report from June 2023 to April 2025, dated June the 23rd, 2025, for information. Lots of 23s in there. Mr. Beelen, would you like to move that, sir? Thank you. And Councillor Deneen, thank you so much. Any questions? I know the commissioner's not with us, but perhaps our clerks would help. Anything? No, it's a good report. All right, then I will call the motion. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimous as well. All right, council, we are going to move directly to our bylaws at this time. This is in regards to 4769 Highway 26. Be it resolved that bylaw 2543 being a bylaw to regulate the use of lands and character, location, and use of buildings and structures on lands municipally known as 4769 Highway 26 Clearview, legally describes as Sunnydale Concession 9, West Part Lot 16, Concession 10, Part Lot 16 and 17, registered plan 51R 20525, Part 1. Clearview, be presented and read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the 23rd day of June, 2025. Mover and seconder on the bylaw, please. Mr. Broderick, Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you. Any questions on the bylaw? Seeing none, I'll call the motion. All in favor? The bylaw carries. Thank you very much. Council, we're at item number 12, our notices of motion and new business. Any new business? No? Okay, thank you. We go to our confirmatory bylaw recommendation. Be it resolved, bylaw 2544, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the June 23rd, 2025 council meeting, be presented or read a first, second, and third time, finally passed on the 23rd day of June, 2025. Mr. Beelen again, thank you. Mr. Walker, thank you. And any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Confirmatory bylaw carries. Before motion to adjourn, anybody else? Anything else they want to add? No? Okay, motion to adjourn. Is that 7:29, 7:30, something like that? 7:30. How about that, guys? 7:30. All right. Deputy Mayor and Mr. Broderick for the motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. I do want to add, have a happy Canada Day weekend coming up. We're going to have a great time. And We'll see you all out there in our beautiful community. Have a good evening.